Indy 400 from Daytona, Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern, only on ESPN. Well, Gil DeFerrin actually stopped back at the 19th lap. My mistake. I apologize. So
I went with you too, Paul. I'm sorry.
He's in the lead. There's Alex Zanardi sits in second, followed by Michael Andretti, Brian Herta. They are in race order. But look here. Here's Al Unser Jr., who is making up for what has not been a pleasant weekend as he's run up into 5th place. Fernandez is just behind him, so those top 6 are all right together.
And I think what we're seeing here was their strategy to stop as opposed to the other one to make it a 2-stop race. And as I said, it will only play out further into the race.
The car leading the next group is Christian Fittipaldi, who runs in 7th. You're now on board Christian, and you can just get an occasional glimpse of the Adrian Fernandez car, which lies ahead as Christian tries to make up time. Let's go to the pits and Jack Arute.
And Paul, even though we weren't a math major, let's see if we can decipher this all for you. Remember when the full course yellow came out around lap 19? Your leader at that time was Alex Zanardi. Zanardi ducked onto pit road, who followed suit, Gil DeFerrin from Brazil in the Pennzoil car. The other 2 drivers that play into this, that being, of course, Jimmy Vasser. Well, Vasser stayed out. That put him out of sequence. But now he has also completed his pit stop, and Gary Gerald, another driver that stayed out, completed his sequential pit stop, and he's out there now. Some people want to make it a 2-stop race. Other guys like Vasser might have to make it a 3-stop race, Gary.
One of those hoping to make it a 2-stop race is Paul Tracy. We saw him come in and get his service in under 14 seconds. He wasn't able to gain ground on the other teams that were up there in the lead position. But they are hoping that it will be a 2-stop race. His teammate, Al Unser Jr., who I believe is currently being listed in the number 5 position, was one of those who came in on that yellow. And I just talked with the crew. Richard Buck says, this car has not been working well for us this weekend, but I'm telling you right now, Junior is driving the wheels off of it. He's throwing everything he's got at this racetrack right now, and he's in the top 5 because of it.
And Junior is one of those guys who can make up for a race car that isn't working as well. It's not like the old days where you could have just a terrible car and the driver was 85–90% of the car. Now the car is at least 80% of the run, but little Al is still one of those guys who can reach down and pull up even greater performance out of a race car.
I don't know if it's 80%, but I'm a driver, so I'd like to take a little credit, you know, but I think just to clarify, when somebody's saying drive the wheels off of it like they were talking about, he's going in deep on the brakes. He's getting it as much as he can. He's overdriving the car. He's taking it through the corner faster than the car really is set up for. He's sliding it around. He's trying to be as gentle as he can, but he's really just hustling the car. And Junior does it great. And I'll tell you one other thing. He is awful good around this Cleveland Burke airport.
And what he really is doing is changing it from a mechanical form to an art form, making it better than it is.
Well, that's right.
Let's go to Jack Arute.
Well, Bobby Rahal continues a season plagued with problems. Rahal came onto pit road, complained that the motor wasn't firing properly. They changed the boost control unit, sent him back out. It still didn't sound very good. Look for Bobby Rahal to come back onto pit road within a lap or 2, gentlemen.
Bobby Rahal, who scored his first win in IndyCars at this very circuit and has not had the best of seasons thus far, especially when you expected so much to develop out of this team, especially now teamed with Brian Herta. They'd really be able to get some good test time and do well. 40 laps complete. DeFerrin, Zanardi, Andretti, the top 3 here in Cleveland. IndyCar Series. Don't miss the action next here on ABC Sports. So here at the Burke Lakefront Airport, you ride on board with Michael Andretti. Just seconds ago, watch Greg Moore working on Scott Pruitt.
Yeah, that's him in the blue car, pulls out just on the inside, slows down, makes sure. Now Scott Pruitt tries to get a run, seems slide out there, tries to go back up the inside, but he didn't make it.
And now as they come into the first turn, boy, Moore really locks him up, trying to get around Christian Fittipaldi, gives him enough room, comes around, Scott Pruitt comes inside of Christian at the same time. So 2 cars get past Christian. I think Christian saw Greg Moore coming and was worried about being clipped off. He did not, I don't think, saw Scott Pruitt coming. Jack Arute?
Well, to make it in 2 stops. They've been talking back and forth about where to run the fuel metering and how to drive this racetrack. Meanwhile, we told you early on that there was a severe understeer problem for Scott Pruitt. They made a wing adjustment during their pit stop. Now Pruitt says the car is much better. That was the battle we were watching out on the racetrack.
And the report from Bobby Rahal's team is that the changes they did make, Rahal radioed in and said it's better, and he has decided to stay out. 42 laps complete. There's Rahal. Greg Moore is approaching him, but of course he is... Rahal with the stop is not on the lead pace any longer. And Greg Moore now seems to be able to pull away just a bit from Scott Pruitt. So Greg Moore now 7th. His next target is Adrian Fernandez. You saw P.J. Jones have his problems earlier. Gary Gerald's now with him.
And P.J., in your rookie IndyCar season and starting in the middle of this season, a steep learning curve we're aware of. How was it for you today in the short time you were able to contest this wide open spaces?
Well, the first couple laps were great. We passed about 3 cars, and, you know, it felt good. But then we started losing a shift sensor and kept making the motor miss. So I came in, got a couple laps down, we fixed that, went back out. But I think we hurt the gearbox already, and then it just locked up. But the Toyota, you know, we've been going good. The motors have run all the last 3 races, all 3 of them, and you know, I think that's a positive step. We just have more work to do on our chassis and on our motors. But you know, I just want to thank Castro for sticking with us and Toyota for behind us, because you know, they're going to get there. One day they're going to be on top.
Thanks, PJ.
Okay.
Well, we've just crossed over the halfway point of the race. 19 cars remain on the lead lap. Greg Moore, that blue and white car, runs in 7th place, looking for Adrian Fernandez up ahead. Leader of the race is still Joe DeFerrin, with Alex Zanardi behind him, and then Michael Andretti. None of those at the moment in close contest. We go back up to the front of the field on board. The bright yellow car, Joe DeFerrin. And took out one of the cones. That's Jimmy Vasser, of course.
Now, either that means that, sorry, Paul, that either means that he ran off track, or somebody, one of them just got flipped out of the car, so he's down to 1, but he needs to, or somebody hit him, knocked him onto the track, and he ran over him in the process. Well, now, if that stays there, they're certainly going to call him in, but he needs to come in anyway. That's going to block the right side coolers, isn't it? Well, it could do, but it shouldn't. It might mess up the handling more than that. But what it really does is it turns it back into a 3-stop race. So watching him, see what they're going to do with him, whether or not they're going to black flag him. And there is the leader of the race coming up just behind him. Leader comes around, 2nd place. His teammate comes around, Alex Zanardi. Boy, and he's going to have, this is really bad for Jimmy, because this means he's going to drop him out of the points chase a little bit. He's going to have to make a stop to clean that up, and I think he must have gone off someplace. See the puff of smoke off that right front tire? He's locking him up. He's got a problem. He's got 2 cones in there. Well, here's another question for you. That cone, it looks to me, when you look at the onboard camera as Michael Andretti comes by, 3rd place, when you look at the onboard camera shot, it looks to me like it is lying right against the arm that controls the steering, that links his steering wheel as out to the wheel itself. Jackaroo?
Well, Paul, the discussion was between Tom Anderson and Jimmy Vasser. Who made the call to come into the pits? Jimmy Vasser himself. They're going to come in and they'll take advantage of this pit stop to remove the cones. Now, this happened to this team back in Australia, if you recall. They hit a cone, had it wedged. Vasser comes down under the 60-mile-an-hour speed limit, and he will get the service from the Tom Anderson-led target team of Chip Ganassi. He finds his spot. He'll be looking for the mark, and we'll see if they'll be able to pull the cone out. It is wedged right up there behind the right front wing. First thing to do, pull the tires off, make the change there. Now watch for the outside tire man. He'll make the change on the cone itself. They extract the cone. They make the wing adjustment. 12.3. Now why they wanted to make the wing adjustment was that Vasser had been complaining about the handling of the car. There were 2 cones pulled out of the car. Vasser is back out, but this changes the sequence for Vasser.
Well, it sure does as he comes out on the the 48th lap of the race.
So
Jimmy Vasser is in 18th position, not anywhere near a point-scoring position.
Yes, Paul, and what that really does is it really throws him out because he lost that ground by staying up to make it a 2-stop. Now it's for sure going to be a 3-stop.
Michael Andretti in at the 48th lap. So Michael Andretti turns onto the pit road. Remember, many of these teams have staggered their stops. Gil DeFerrin, one of those that is also on a staggered pattern, as is Alex Zanardi. So you expect that those may all be coming in here shortly.
Well, they've got to because they all run around 30 laps. They stopped at 18 before, and 30 laps is 48. He stopped on the 48th lap. They're all going to be coming in right now, the ones that stopped early on, which is Al Jr., DeFerrin, Zanardi, and who else I think was out there?
And Michael, of course.
And Michael.
So DeFerrin is the leader at the moment. 49 laps complete as he works alongside of his teammate, Christian Fittipaldi. The race started here with Zanardi jumping around the pole sitter, Jimmy Vasser taking the lead for 19 laps and then pitting. And then Jimmy Vasser took over the lead for 10 laps. And Paul Tracy took the lead for a single lap and handed the lead over on a stop to Gil DeFerrin. 19 cars on the lead lap as they cross the halfway point 5 laps ago. We're now on the 50th lap of 90. Out of the race, Eddie Lawson is out, Bosell is out, Parker Johnstone, P.J. Jones, and Emerson Fittipaldi have all retired from competition.
You see them go through there. You see how rough that is. Their heads bouncing around. That eventually takes its toll. These drivers get tired.
And Scott Pruitt is in, Jack.
And this is a normal pit stop for Scott Pruitt and the Patrick Racing team. They're going to change. Taking a look from overhead, a new camera angle for the Pruitt team. They're going to change 4 tires. They make a wing adjustment about a half turn downward, and Scott Pruitt is off and away and back into the hunt.
There was the other name we couldn't remember. Scott Pruitt comes out.
Gives a little lock of that right front brake. See, he slowed down there because there's cars coming through there. He just couldn't shoot out, which is frustrating for him because now he's got to go slow.
Al Unser Jr. comes in the pits. Gary?
We're wondering if they'll go for a short fuel fill here because this is a 3-stop race for Al Unser Jr. That indeed is the case. 10.5 seconds and he's gone.
Well, he gets new tires on it, though, which should substantially improve the handling.
Now, that adds to the gamble because what they're doing is they didn't put as much fuel in. They just went with the tires and as much fuel as they could get into that stop, hoping to pick up 2-3 seconds because they know they have to stop one more time.